So today we're going to look at a CT setup for cache. The setup is a retake on A. So the idea is to allow the T's to take A site if they do an execute onto it, and then try and retake the site. So the reason why you would do this sort of setup is maybe the T's seem to be getting mid control too easily, or able to execute onto B too easily as well. So that's sort of the way you would set it up, and the reason why it's A that you do this as well is because it's such an easy site to retake, and we'll look at that later. So first of all, look at the positions that the CTs would play. So the first setup would be like a 1-3-1 and the other would be a 1-2-2. So the 1-3, well, with both of them you would have someone, probably your primary AWPer would be playing towards A. So he can either play towards the truck if he wants to play defensive, see if anyone peeks him. If they start executing onto A and do like the smokes like that, then he can peek forklift, or maybe he becomes aggressive here and peeks in. If he wants to be a bit more aggressive in general, then he can come up towards highway and like peek over the smokes if they come in, try and get a first kill and then back off. So that's your primary AWPer's position. So the next places would be the mid area, and in the 1-3-1, that means you're having 3 people here. So probably a good place to place someone would be in the vent, since they can watch both mid and B. So to get him up there, you probably just do like that smoke, do this molly up onto here, and then he'd push up and get into vent. So yeah, he can watch both mid and B, so if the B player calls that there's some aggression on B, he can peek like this and kill them. Then you would also, with the mid, so you've got one, that's one of your 3 people playing vent, and that you'd probably have another person playing up close as well. Perhaps if you don't have too much money, then you can have someone with a shotgun or something like that really close up, playing here or here, and him and the person in the vent would set up crossfires together, baiting for each other and so on. And that also comes in with the last player in mid, who would be playing much further back, so he can play with a rifle, or he could be like the secondary AWPer if you can afford that. This is where the secondary AWPer would play, so he would be like back here, trying to get like a pick or something, maybe gets the kill and just like sort of falls back and baits, so that if they try and push out after the first AWP shot's been fired, then your teammates who are close up can get the kill. But yeah, you can also play sugar cube maybe, and these 3 people need to work together, sort of bait for each other and set up crossfires. So with B, if you're playing the 1-3-1, then you've got a single person on B, so he can either play defensive towards headshot or on site, just trying to get information on what's going on, or maybe he plays a bit more aggressive towards checkers and he baits with the person in vent, so he's playing checkers or like playing back here or something like that, and he's working with the guy up in the vent to set up crossfire in this area to deny any CT's control of checkers, and he's also able to like watch site. If they execute onto site, he's able to watch site and have the vent guy cover him whilst he's doing that. If you're playing the 1-2-2, then you just play some sort of standard B setup with your 2 players. You could go aggressive, you could play defensive, you could sort of do what you want. It's just, yeah, just play your normal sort of B setup for that. So now that we've looked at the positions that you play, we'll look at how you would retake the site. So to start off with, if the player at the truck sees the smokes coming in, then what you can do to delay time, call for rotates and get rotates here quicker, is he comes up towards the truck, and have himself popped up like so. Then if he brings this corner up here and brings it together with the wall, and he aims here and he throws a Molotov, then that will land on site and it will prevent anyone planting from on the safe spot. People can still plant in like the A main default spot, but if he's got an AWP or even a rifle, then maybe he wants to push up and get aggressive and try and peek if they're trying to do that sort of plant. So once your team's ready to retake the site, then you need to smoke off A main. The reason why you need to smoke off A main is because if you're giving the T's control of the site, and not having any presence here to prevent them from planting wherever they like, then most teams will plant for A main, since it's really powerful to plant here and have someone holding back, able to just like wait for the bomb to be baited out and peek, and so on. So you'll see a lot of teams plant for A main. So if they do that, which they will probably do if you're giving them the site control, then you'll need to smoke off A main so that you can defuse the bomb, obviously, and prevent that that player who's playing in A main from being useful. Either he has to push through the smoke or spam it and get lucky. So to smoke off A main, you need to come up onto this back part here, and you go up to this texture here, and you look down at the floor so your crosshairs here like so. Then you look up here and you see this dot here, the furthest left dot. If you bring it right, then you've got this panel here. If you bring it up to the top here of the roof and throw, then that will land towards A main. But when you're doing this, you need to be careful of people who are pushing up here. Just make sure you've got teammates already at the truck, like covering you before you go in. And yeah, that smoke lands here and covers off A main. So another really important spot that you need to clear out for retaking A main is quad. Pretty much all the time, someone will play quad box in a post-plant situation. I don't think I've ever gone into A main and someone hasn't been there. If it's like a, I don't know, a 3v3 or something like that, where they've got multiple people there, the chances are someone's going to be playing quad box. So to completely counter him, you'll need to Molotov him off to flush him out of there. Maybe even two people might play there, so that would hopefully get two of them out. But to try and get them out of there, you need to practice throwing a Molotov coming up from highway. You can't really do it from CT spawn since it's just so exposed. So with the Molotov, you just need to just practice throwing it over so that it goes over and hits the back. That should probably be a little bit more right, because you don't want them to be able to stand. Oh no, I think it's good enough. Yeah, you don't want them to be able to just stand on the edge here and just still be covered. If that's too difficult, or you want to just do something a bit more safer, then you can throw it against this white panel here, and it should be able to bounce back behind quad. So if you just come up here and you throw it, then it should bounce off, and then it should reach the back of quad like that, and then it will cover this back area here where people can't hide from. And then once you throw that, your teammates who are coming from CT need to push up at the same time to catch anyone who's there. There's no point throwing that molly and letting them just get out for free. You want to throw that molly and catch them as they're coming out. So you want them to be pushing up here for CT. It's okay, throw the molly, throws the molly goes down, and then you peek it and wait for anyone to push out. So that's people watching from CT. So other places that are good to cover off, which are a little bit less important. So if you don't have very much utility, those are the two things that you should always try and smoke off and molly off. Always try and smoke off A main if you're doing a retake. That's probably the most important one. And always try and molly off quad, since everyone plays it seems like. So the other sort of key positions that you can molly off are just forklift. This one's a little bit more difficult because you sort of have to do it from the open. So you have to sort of just watch it and then throw it. If you throw it onto the right side, then that should catch anyone who's playing in this corner here, just facing the wall or something like that. So that's good to try and catch someone off there. And another place is squeak. With squeak, a lot of time people molly it off, but if you molly it off, then the T's can just either the door's open like this, which is perfect since they can just look through it, but even if it's closed, then they can open it that way round and still be able to peek out of it even when the molly's down. So it's probably best to smoke it off, so that they just can't see or do anything. They can try spamming it, but odds are they probably won't be able to get you. So what you also need to be careful of is the lurk. So a lot of the time the lurking player for the T's will probably be playing mid. What Happy does a lot of the time is he'll come here and he'll just hold this angle here and wait for rotating players. Obviously it's quite difficult for someone to do that if you've already got a heavy mid presence. So you've got these people here, and then they call that the A attack's happening. It's difficult for someone to come out of mid main and be able to get into a lurk position before you start retaking the site. So you need to be careful of the late lurk. Probably won't happen very often, and probably won't be able to shoot you in the back, but you should also always be careful of it, in case they try and do it, because it'll just be easy kills if you're not being wary of it. Perhaps if you've cleared the site and you're ready to defuse, and there's only one of the enemy left, then you can probably guess he's trying to lurk behind you. Probably coming from mid, coming really late, just trying to catch you off, so just be wary of that.